Hello YouTube, how you guys doing today? It is me again, your favorite Texas trucker, and I am kicked back in the front seat of the new truck. Um, we'll go through everything here in just a minute. Moxie is over here. I'm moving everything out of that truck and bringing it over here into my truck. All right, so I kind of wanted to talk about a few things here and there, and then we'll get a quick look at the truck. All right, let's talk about. I told you that I purchased this truck and I purchased an older truck, and I told you that I would talk to you and discuss why I chose this route rather than to do a lease purchase. Okay. There's pros and cons to doing a lease purchase agreement as opposed to just buying a truck outright. Okay, and there's advantages to purchasing a truck outright rather than doing a lease purchase. I don't want to really get into discussing or talking about the pros and cons of a lease purchase. Um, my model is not for everybody, and everybody's model is not for me. So this isn't going to be a video about lease purchase, but I do want to talk about it in the context of why I chose not to do it. Okay. I ran a business before becoming a truck driver. All right, and the business that I ran had a high overhead, and because of the high overhead, the profit margin was very narrow, very small. And so when I ran into a situation where the economy cut into the profit margin, it ultimately caused me to lose the business. All right. And what happened was that I could no longer afford the overhead. And so in trying to keep the business open, I went further and further into debt until I reached a point at which I could no longer sustain the business and keep it open. All right. And I'm still trying to recover from that. And so when I decided that I was going to own my own truck and purchase my own vehicle and go owner operator, and one of the first primary concerns that I had was in keeping my overhead as low as possible. All right. And so in a lease purchase agreement, your weekly payments are really high. And when I sat and I looked at what each company was offering in pay for a lease purchase, and then when I took the time to look at what I would be paying out for a lease purchase, I decided that for me, in my previous experience with high overhead, that there was too much money going out and not enough money coming in. Okay. And I didn't want to get caught in that again, honestly. I mean, and so that's the primary reason why I chose not to go with a lease purchase. Okay. Second reason is that because when you go with a lease purchase, you're going to get a carb compliant truck. All right. Carb compliant truck includes the diesel exhaust fluid system, the dozier valve, the DPF system, the EGR system, all that kind of stuff. And I don't want any of that in my truck. On one hand, those trucks will be under warranty. On the other hand, they're going to cost you a shitload of time and downtime because they're constantly having to be maintenance because of that. They're constantly breaking down because of it. And at the point in which that truck becomes yours and it actually belongs to you, provided you can succeed in the lease purchase, then it's not under warranty anymore, and all that money comes out of your own pocket. And I'm not talking about $1,000 here and there. I'm talking about thousands of dollars in repairs. And I just, I don't want it, I chose an older truck. In 2003, it was mandated that, all the engines made after 2003 had an emission system built into them. The emission system caused quite a few problems. But it was overshadowed when they came out with the carb compliant trucks with the EGR system, the DPF, the DEF, all that kind of stuff in 2007. So all engines made after October 2007 are both emissions controlled and have the DPF EGR systems in them, and I don't want any of those. So I specifically was searching for a truck that was 2002 and newer. All right, 2002 and older. I'm sorry. And what I found was a 1997 Kenworth T600. This truck right here that I'm in as we talk, and the truck, probably cost me a little bit more than it was really worth. I paid $19,500 for it. It's probably a little bit on the high side as far as cost goes. However, I had no credit, I had bad credit, not just no credit. The last business that shut down killed my credit, and so I was able to find a place that was willing to work with me on the credit that I had. And so I didn't negotiate as much as I might have been able to get the truck, because I felt like he was already, going way above and beyond what he had to do. The place is a great place to get trucks from. And if anybody ever really wants to know about these guys, they're awesome. I 100% support this company and appreciate the fact that they're willing to work with me. Okay, so I didn't negotiate on the price, and the truck does have some flaws. It's not a brand new truck. It's a 1997 truck. It's been around the block a few times, and the engine's in really good condition. That was my main concern. My main concern was that the engine was clean, the engine didn't have any leaks, and it wasn't gonna break down 100 miles down the road. The cosmetic stuff, that's all stuff that can be fixed in time. All right, and so that's the reason that I took the truck that I wanted. Now, in the next couple of videos, we're going to talk about everything I had to do to get where I'm at right now. All right, as far as the process. I've been a company driver for Millis Transfer, and I'm in the process of changing over to become an owner-operator. So let's take a look at the inside of the truck, then we'll get out and we'll take a look at the outside of the truck. All right. First thing, again, it's a 1997 T600, and it's got a Cummins N14 red top engine, a Super 10 transmission. All right. Super 10 transmission has taken me a little bit of time to get used to. I've just about got the hang of it. When I first started driving the truck, there were some major differences in the truck. First major difference really made me feel like an idiot, and that's the fact that in driving the truck that I drive now, this one over here, all right, that one. That truck has got a Jake brake that might as well not even exist. It's probably the weakest Jake brake that you can imagine. And those of you that drive these new trucks, you're aware of what I'm talking about. So I run with the Jake brake on all the time. You really can't even hardly tell it's on. And I'm so used to having it on all the time and it's been so long since I've driven an older truck. Back when I was in the Army in the 80s, when I drove the M920. I had forgotten just how strong the Jake brakes really are, and so when I got in this truck, I turned the Jake brake on, just out of habit. And of course, I turned it on 3, and then I went to go taking off. So now I'm running a truck that has a completely different shift pattern, all right, than what I'm used to. I'm used to an Eaton 10-speed. Where you run through the first 5 gears, you switch to the high side, and then you run through the second 5 gears in the same pattern. That's not how a Super 10 works. All right, let me just come down here. We'll show you the shift pattern on the Super 10. All right. So here is the shift pattern. I'm not sure if you can see that because I can't see the screen right now, but that is the shift pattern. If you notice that you have a high and low reverse, which you normally have, then you have first and second gears in the same location, third and fourth gears in the same location, fifth and sixth gears in the same location, seventh and eighth gears in the same location, ninth and 10th gears in the same location. Okay, well, we've got that. So what you do is let's say you, like me, you start off in third gear. So third gear is where second gear is in an Eaton 10-speed. So you start off in third gear, and then when you get to your shifting range, then you switch to the high side, and properly you would engage the clutch and then disengage the clutch, and it'll shift to fourth gear for you. And then you'll switch, when you get to the shifting range again, you switch back to the low side, and then you shift it into the fifth gear, which is where third gear is in an Eaton 10-speed, and so on and so on and so on, all the way through 10th gear. So you're only running through the shifting pattern one time. All right, and that was enough to confuse the shit out of me, because I'm so used to running the Eaton 10-speed, and so I had a problem remembering what gear I was in, and I mean, I felt like I was a first day student in truck driving school again. And then to make matters worse, I had my Jake brake on full. So the second I would engage the clutch or let off of the accelerator, the Jake brake engaged. And when the Jake brake engaged, it would cause the entire truck to lurch, because the Jake brake in this truck is pretty powerful. And needless to say, I looked like an idiot trying to drive the truck. I embarrassed the hell out of myself. And it's taken me a little bit of time to get used to. Now I'm pretty smooth driving it. I still need a little bit of practice, but I am pretty smooth in driving it. I've pretty much got it under control. It's been an experience, definitely. Let's take a look at the inside here. Okay, on the dash, notice that it is an old truck. Nothing in here is new. All right. We're going to be making some changes. On the dash over here on this side, I have a panel where there can be a gauge but isn't one. So we have the volt gauge, the oil pressure gauge, and the water temperature gauge. Tach, speedometer, fuel filter gauge, turn signal indicators. Up here, this panel up here that you can't see, these are all the engine lights, engine code lights. The stereo, and the CB speaker, external speakers. Over here, in this area, we have primary, secondary, air, fuel, the brake pressure, and then this was supposed to have one of these covers from over here in it, but the cover came off. So this thing's only got 7 gauges plus the speed and tach. All right, panel light control, and then over here, all of your switches. Note that most of your switches are in bad condition. Switch panel plates are in bad condition. We'll be replacing them. They are old. And then down here, the parking and trailer, air supply brake, air conditioner. A lot of room up here in the front, even though it's a narrow cab. These seats slide a lot further back than what they slide in the Kenworth, which is both, in the 680, which is both an advantage and a disadvantage. This is not a tilt steering wheel. Kind of a little bit more old school here. It's not a tilt steering wheel, so you can't pull it down into the position that I'm typically most comfortable with. So that means that I'm until I can find that little comfort zone of where I'm riding at, and I haven't quite found it yet, because I honestly don't have but a few miles in this truck. My XM radio, CB is going to get mounted up here. Nothing special about the interior panels. I am going to update these and make them a little bit nicer. My plans are to replace, or to add 2 gauges here and add the 2 gauges down here, 3 on this side. I'm going to have a full set of gauges in here. I'm going to get a suspension gauge added. I'm going to get a turbo gauge added. I'll get a oil temperature gauge added, and a few other gauges I'm going to have added. I'm also going to change over to the Tech, I think they're called Tektron digital gauges. And these fake wood panels, I'm going to take out. I'm going to pull the wood off the top, and I'm going to do polished aluminum, which is going to have a chrome-like finish on them. Is what I'm going to do on the dash. So over here, same thing. I'll put chrome switches, new plates, custom knobs, and all of that. That's nothing that I'm looking at doing immediately. It's, stuff I'll do here and there over time. Just because I do want the truck to look nice, and I want it to be nice. Chrome don't get you home, so it's not a priority. It's not what I'm going to put in here first, but I am going to update the truck, and I am going to make the truck look nice. Like I said, it does have cosmetic issues. Nothing really major, but it does have cosmetic issues. Let's get through this fairly quick because we're getting high up in time. Back is a mess because I'm in the middle of moving things in here. So ignore the stuff that's just thrown on the bed. I'll have it cleaned up soon. Storage. We'll talk about this here in a second. Storage. Refrigerator is going to get installed down here. On this side, we have storage. I've got this in here for now. This is actually where you hang clothes, but I'm not going to be using it for that. And I'm not sure if that's going to stay. I got my inverter installed, and then they gave me a brand new mattress. And ignore all the junk that's on the mattress. I just haven't put it up yet. I'm in the process of moving everything out. Okay. There's actually a lot of room back here in the back. Right here, what I did is I took that panel off, okay, and I'm going to build a shelf that comes out to here. Now, this is another advantage to being an owner-operator as opposed to a lease purchase operator. I can make any changes to this truck I want to make to it. I don't have to have permission from somebody to make changes to my truck. All right, let's go outside. We're going to look at the cosmetic damage on the truck itself, okay? There is some cosmetic issues. I mean, it's an old truck. It's not a brand new truck. This is a work truck. So we're going to start from back here. And, first you have old faded paint. This paint's got chips in it, from stuff bouncing off the side of it. And it needs a whole new paint job. So I'm going to be doing an entire new paint job on the truck within the first year. We have cracked fairing down here. I'll be replacing that also. We'll be putting locking gas caps or fuel caps. Note that the hood is not in great condition. The hood has probably got the most damage of anything in the truck. We've got right here where the hood came down on this bracket and broke. And as we come further down to the front of the truck, right here, we have a crack break in the front grille. Okay. You got a little bit of chipping right in here, a little bit of cracking here, and then here we have a crack and a bulge right in here where our bracket is bulging. A little bit of cracking, chipping, a little bit of chipping, and a little bit of chipping over here. A little bit of cracking or breaking right over in here. All right. And down here, I'll be replacing this one also. Again, needs paint. See, the cover right here is rusted. And so I will be getting chrome covers for that. And then right here, there's a little bit of a crumpling in the back wall where it looks like he turned too sharp with a trailer. I don't know what kind of trailer he was pulling, but it looks like he turned a little sharp and he did a little bit of crumpling right in here. It's not bad, but it is going to cost a little bit to get it fixed. All right, retreads. Good tread depth they're old tires. So I'm not going to be keeping these tires on this truck for very long. And I'm going to be switching them for low profile virgin tires, virgin rubber. We will get rid of all of the recaps. Aluminum on the outside, these caps need to go. That's both caps on this side are beat up, bent up. Both of them need to go. Not that expensive. I'll be replacing them probably within the week. This is an air ride system. It does have airbags on the truck and cab and the truck. All right. Again, on the inside, aluminum on the outside, steel on the inside. We're going to be replacing all 4 of the inner wheels, replacing them to aluminum. And then I need to replace this step down here. I also need to replace this bracket for the glad hands and the electrical. I replaced the suspension spring last night. The truck currently has no door key, so I'm going to be going to Kenworth today to get replacement locks, and then I will come in and I will replace those locks myself. And this door tends to stick, so while I've got it apart, I will grease everything in there and fix it. Front tires are a little low on tread. They're running about 40%, and so I'll need new front tires here pretty soon. So we're going to do all 10 tires all the way around. And I think I already mentioned this, but we'll be replacing this. So that is the outside of the truck. All right, we're at 22 minutes, and we'll go ahead and cut that off right here. And then I'll do another video as I'm loading this one. We'll do another video, and we'll talk a little bit about what I've had to do to get to where I'm at. All right. Appreciate you watching, and peace out.